In 1961, a researcher at Yale built a machine that did nothing. No current ran through it. No one on the other side of the wall was hurt. What the machine measured wasn't electricity. It measured how far an ordinary person would go if someone in a position of authority simply told them to keep going. Before the study ran, psychiatrists were asked how many people would press the final switch. The prediction, 1 in 1,000. 65% did. Stanley Milgram didn't set out to study cruelty. He set out to understand how ordinary people participate in atrocities they would never commit alone. New Haven, Connecticut, 1961. That same summer in Jerusalem, a man is on trial for organizing the murder of millions. His defense is simple. He followed orders. At Yale, a young psychologist, not yet 30, decides to test that defense. His name is Stanley Milgram. An advertisement appears in the local paper, a scientific study of memory and learning. 1 hour, $4.50. Hundreds of men answer: postal clerks, high school teachers, salesmen, engineers, laborers. Each one walks into a basement laboratory alone. Inside, 2 men are waiting, a stern experimenter in a gray technician's coat, and a mild, likable accountant in his late 40s, Mr. Wallace. What the volunteer does not know, both men are actors. The draw for roles is rigged. Both slips of paper say teacher. Mr. Wallace, when the learner, is led behind the wall and strapped into a chair. An electrode is taped to his wrist. He mentions almost in passing a slight heart condition. The teacher is seated in front of the machine. 30 switches, 15 volts each. From slight shock to danger, severe shock to 2 letters, XXX. The task is simple, word pairs. The learner memorizes, the teacher tests. Every wrong answer, 1 switch, 1 step to the right, 15 more volts. The first mistakes come quickly, 75 volts. Through the wall, a grunt. 120 volts. He calls out that the shocks are becoming painful. 150 volts. He demands to be released. He says his heart is starting to bother him. The teacher turns around, and the man in the gray coat says quietly, "Please continue." There are only 4 sentences. Please continue. The experiment requires that you continue. It is absolutely essential that you continue. You have no other choice. You must go on. He never raises his voice. He never touches anyone. Session after session, the same script plays out. The teacher reads out word pairs. Blue, box, nice day, wild duck. A wrong answer. The teacher must announce the punishment before he delivers it. 75 volts. Another mistake, 90, 105, 120. At 135, the teacher hesitates. The gray coat behind him, "Please continue." At 150, the voice behind the wall demands out. The teacher pushes back his chair. The experiment requires that you continue. He asks who takes responsibility if something happens. "I am responsible," says the coat. "Please go on." 180 volts. The voice says it cannot stand the pain. 270, screaming. The teacher laughs. A strange, helpless laugh he will apologize for afterwards. And he keeps going. 300 volts. The learner pounds on the wall. After 315, nothing, no pounding, no answers. Silence. The rules say silence counts as a wrong answer. The teachers are not enjoying this. They sweat, they tremble, they stutter, they laugh, strange, helpless laughter they cannot control. 3 of them collapse into seizures. 1 so violent the session is stopped. And they go on. 26 of the 40 men press the final switch. 450 volts, XXX. Not one of them stops before 300 volts. The prediction was 1 in 1,000. The reality, 2 in 3. Then Milgram starts taking the room apart. He moves the learner into the same room in plain view. Obedience falls to 40%. He makes the teacher press the learner's hand onto the shock plate himself. 30%. He moves the whole study to a shabby office in Bridgeport with no university name on the door. Nearly half still obey. He has the experimenter give his orders by telephone. 20%. He seats the teacher beside 2 others who refuse. Only 10% keep going. And when the teacher only reads the questions, while another man presses the switches, 92% go all the way to the end. He runs the study again with 40 women. The number does not move, 65%. Then he removes the orders entirely. The teacher chooses the voltage himself. The average, just above 80 volts. One man in 40 goes to the end. Take away the order and the machine goes quiet. The cruelty was never in the man at the switches. It was built into the room around him. Milgram publishes in 1963. The storm is immediate. Critics say the study itself was the abuse for what it did to the people who pressed the switches. That same year, in a book about the Eichmann trial, Hannah Arendt gives the pattern its name, the banality of evil. Milgram answers with a number. 84% of his subjects said they were glad to have taken part. Milgram spends the rest of his life explaining the number. His conclusion fits in one sentence. The disappearance of a sense of responsibility is the most far-reaching consequence of submission to authority. The pattern refuses to stay in the laboratory. 1966, a researcher telephones 22 hospital nurses, posing as a doctor they have never met. He orders a dangerous overdose of an unauthorized drug. 21 of the 22 head for the medicine cabinet. No laboratory, no machine, just a voice with a title. In 2009, a careful replication stops at 150 volts. 70% of subjects are still willing to continue past it. In 2010, a French television crew rebuilds the machine as a game show. 81% go to the end. The machine still works. Take the room apart, and there is a structure underneath it. Not a wall and a chair. A set of conditions stacked like load-bearing beams. 4 conditions, each one measured, each one removable. Authority physically present. A gray coat in the room, 2 steps behind you. Move him to a telephone, and obedience collapses to 20%. Incremental escalation. 15-volt steps. No single step large enough to refuse. Every switch justifies the one before it. Distance from the victim. A wall. Bring the learner into the room, and obedience falls. Make the teacher touch him, and it falls again. Diffused responsibility. I am responsible, says the coat. And when someone else presses the switches, almost no one refuses at all. The percentages are not trivia, they are the blueprint. Remove any one beam, and the structure does not hold. Stack all 4, and 2 out of 3 ordinary men will walk the board to the end. The men were never the mechanism, the room was. This is the shape Psych keeps finding underneath every story we tell. Not what happened, what was built to make it possible.